Hello, Gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Let's play chess. Alright, I won this game just a couple minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, in a time crunch. Just a sec here, folks. Alright, what was I on here? Oh, I won this game about 5 minutes ago. And I'm gonna sort of walk us through the game and just about most moves have something to say. I had the white pieces and I played d4, Queen's Gambit after c4. And then I like to sometimes close things up right at the very beginning on move 3. c5. It's not one of the recommended most popular choices, but for online blitz 5 minutes, it's also not that clear how to go against it, how to refute it. If I may be so bold as that it even needs refutation, but it does. It's a move on that chessboard. So yeah, my opponent played bishop to d7, mostly not addressing the pawn at c5. Knight c3, just simple development, and now the correct way to challenge with pawn to b6, pawn to b4, again with the inaccuracy like this, I'm not in the frame of mind to really explain all about it. We'll do a quicker review this time, but pawn to b4 is just strong, keeping this dark squared pawn chain intact, right? If my opponent's going to want to undermine this, he's going to have to really play moves strongly against it, sometimes directly so, or allow white to have a lot of space on the queen side. Yeah, maybe. Not sure about that. Anyway, pawn to a5 is great. This is an excellent move by an excellent chess player. I mean, I don't know this man before this game, but a5 is a very strong move. It shows depth of knowledge. The idea is mostly just to get more attackers against this pawn chain I'm trying to keep intact. Some calculation was done because pawn to a3 is not a good way for white to try to counteract this move. Black will capture on b4. First pawn to a3, and after captures on b4, a takes b4 would lead to rook takes a1, and black is already going to win this game. So after a4, and then it's white's turn to move. Pawn to a3 is a natural response, and it's just not going to work for white. I mean, maybe after a takes b4, white can settle himself and realize that he's lost material now. It's me. I've lost material now. I can play my knight somewhere. Is there anywhere safe? Things just kind of fall apart. A positional collapse, and early. You see, black has more pieces controlling a4 after the swap of pawns on b4 than white. So this knight is having a horrible time finding a safe square. We're thinking probably back to b1. All right, so my opponent. This is why I'm very much in favor of this move my opponent found, pawn to a5. There's a variety of different understandings, not allowing me to gather too much space. Some calculation that under certain natural responses will go black's way, and so on. So B takes a5 was not the greatest move, and it's all the way to a mistake, so we're going to check this out. And white must play b5. It's an awkward move to play. Black can earn a pawn on c5 immediately with b takes c5, d takes c5, bishop takes c5. So yeah, for that reasons, this still goes back to why a5 on the previous move by black was so exactly right. A takes b5 is a try. Just saying, well, you're gonna, with a takes b5 saying, b takes a5, and I'm not all that worried. It's just a position with an open b file. It's not the end of the world for either side if my opponent captures back with the b pawn. So I'm thinking then, how bad is it if my opponent captures back with the a pawn? With the with the rook at a8 rather. How bad is it if my opponent recaptures on a5 with his rook? And that's what happens, so let's take a look. I took some time to make this move. And then some of the follow-ups, not all that much really, actually. I thought the idea is bishop to d2. It's not a good move. The idea is get the discovered attack against black's rook in some way and maybe pick up a pawn and who knows something more in the future. But it wasn't good. It wasn't the calculation didn't serve this. Didn't serve this. I hadn't calculated this bishop to d2 correctly. I'll probably get a discovered attack in, but it's not really all that clear that that's a big deal. So black plays rook a8 and doesn't worry too much about it. B takes c5. I'm going to try this discovered attack, which actually turns out to be good enough for a good rating by the computer. And interestingly, rook a4, I don't like this move. I'm critical of this move as well. Rook a4, moving the rook to a4 where it is protected by the bishop at d7. That's strong. No, sorry, that's wrong. Because this bishop has other things to do in life. And that there's freedom of movement maybe to go to a6, I think, until we find knight c7 check. The queen is covering that. I don't know. I'm with the computer here. Something about rook to a4, putting him into the queen's line of attack, isn't all that great for me. If this knight retreats, then he's being attacked the second time. So, I don't know. Knight c3, like you said, and the rook moves. I think what we're also looking at here is how many pieces can black's only truly active piece occupy at one time. I mean, white's army is mostly developed. If not technically, then there's some pieces like that. The rook on a1 is almost developed. The queen on d1 is almost developed. But, white is way more developed than black. It's just this rook. He's a one-man show here, folks. You got to play the position too. If you can't quite force a win of material, then play something that makes headway for ancillary aims, for secondary aims. Like e4, get pawn in the center. Discovered attack on the rook wins another tempo. When the bishop comes out, probably to e2, but also maybe to d3, then white's king can castle and have that as a advantage for some amount of time while black's king is not ready to castle. And then this game did kind of become this showcase of discovered attacks. So we had that discovered attack earlier. Now here, discovered attack again. And then the knight is gone, but we get the exchange in return. Queen takes d5, and there's queen e5 check to get out of the way of the attack. I have to say, my friends, I don't agree with this evaluation. At 3.3 in favor of black, the extra point of material, I admit, looms large, but this queen isn't all that. She's a little bit susceptible to attack. I don't know. I don't agree. And I'll show the gameplay to prove it, or not really prove it, but I'll show the gameplay. What I was thought with that. That black is ahead by more than a bishop, as the material balance is only one pawn in favor of black. Anyway, bishop to c4, knight to c6, queen to g3. Well, now it's getting deep, so let's check out one of these lines from Torch 4. Knight h5. It looks like maybe the queen is running out of squares. Who's got her here? No one has her here. Oh, when the knight moves in, the bishop has her there. The knight has her here. Light squared bishop. Knight. Bishop. Queen. So yeah. Knight h5 is a queen trap. And here we have the knight covering, pawns covering at g6. Queen traps are difficult usually. It's usually a difficult move to find. So let's not worry too much about that I missed it with queen g3 or that my opponent missed it with kingside castle. We'll just move on. Kingside castle is, I think, again missing the queen trap. And that goes away with knight a5 hunting my bishop on b3. Queen to e5. Strong move. Attacking two undefended pieces. One of those undefended pieces can trade himself off for an equal value piece on b3. So it doesn't. I'm not sure if it necessarily wins material right away, but just in general, a great centralization of my queen from g3 down to e5, attacking all kinds of different points on the chessboard. Building some pressure against e4, and then this is, I would say, probably the main move of the game. f4 to support the knight on e4, and white will be able to pick up the queen with the fork. Queen e6 check. Here I dumped the rook. I thought I was going to get two pieces out of it. Didn't I? No. I dumped the rook thinking, well, I'll get piece one, piece two. And I'm not good at calculating, honestly, because this will show f takes e4, and I don't get that second piece. My knight is under attack, and I have to settle for just the pawn on e4. pick up this bishop when the opportunity arises with queen c4 check. The king moves to the square. And it's not this. I mean, yeah, it's indicated inaccuracy. Inaccuracy. What? This game's, you know, is over one way or another. Queen's gonna be lost. So how bad was this? Okay, it's an inaccuracy. It goes directly into a mate in one. All right. The other choice wasn't also great. Goes in here and the knight gets a fork with knight f7 check, and then picks up the queen. And other moves are like throw your queen away by blocking, throw your rook away by blocking. They don't really work either. So this game is done. All right. Yeah, like I say, not the greatest game today. This wasn't all that high quality. Not that we, no offense, but it wasn't. I think sometimes I rave about that the accuracy was in the low 90s against high 80s or something. Now you know what? This accuracy's in the high 70s and mid 70s, and the game wasn't so great. So it's at least consistent with that. This accuracy that the computer reports is important. My friends, gravitrons. It's been a day. So, thank you for watching. Thank you, gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Have a great night.